Adequate notice of the June 8th, 2023 Township Committee meeting has been provided in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act by posting written notice and agenda of the meeting on the bulletin board in the Municipal Building, 1000 Route 10, Township of Hanover, and by hand delivering, mailing, faxing such notice and agenda to the following newspapers: Morris County's Daily Record, the Star Ledger, Hanover Eagle, and by filing the same with the Township Clerk. Krista, please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance and roll call.
You can stand and do it.
I got it.
Committeeman Cahill.
Here.
Committeeman Faramosca.
Here.
Committeeman Francioli.
Here.
Committeeman Mahalko.
Here.
Mayor Gallagher.
Here.
5 members in attendance.
Now, if you can please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance and stay standing for a moment for a prayer from Deputy Mayor Mahalko. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Almighty God, please watch over and guide this governing body with an abundance of wisdom and understanding to help make the best decisions for our residents. Please bless our first responders and township volunteers who keep us all safe. Also, bless our township employees and residents. Lastly, please let us pray for the men and women of the armed forces who stand vigil over us always. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Mike.
Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. To begin tonight's meeting, we have 3 proclamations that will be presented. I'd like to read the titles of each into the record. The first proclamation is a proclamation of the Township Committee of the Township of Hanover, designating the month of July as Park and Recreation Month in Hanover Township. I'd like to present this to Committeeman Mahalko, and he can present it to the Rec Commission. Okay, the second is a proclamation of the Township Committee of the Township of Hanover. I'm sorry?
I see. Does Committeeman Mahalko want to read it?
You want me to read it?
Yeah, I think it's justified in that this is a very important proclamation to be read.
Absolutely. Yeah, especially with what we've been discussing lately. Proclamation of the Township Committee of the Township of Hanover designating the month of July as Park and Recreations Month with Hanover Township. Whereas Parks and Recreation are an integral part of our communities throughout this country, including Hanover Township. And whereas Parks and Recreation promotes health and wellness in providing the physical and mental health of people who live near parks. And whereas Parks and Recreation promotes time spent in nature with positively impacts mental health by increasing cognitive performance and well-being, and alleviating illnesses such as depression, attention deficit disorder, and Alzheimer's. And whereas Parks and Recreation encourages physical activities by providing space for popular sports, hiking trails, swimming pools, and many other activities designed to promote active lifestyles. And whereas Parks and Recreation is the leading provider for healthy meals, nutrition services, and education. And whereas Parks and Recreation programming and education activities such as out-of-school time programming, youth sports, environmental education, and are critical to childhood development. And whereas Parks and Recreation increases the community's economic prosperity through increased property values, expansion of the local tax base, increased tourism, the attraction and retention of businesses, and crime reduction.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Okay, the second proclamation is a proclamation of the Township Committee, the Township of Hanover, declaring June 2023 as National Gun Violence Awareness Month in Hanover Township. Is there anybody here that would like to confirm?
Are you going to read it into the record? Joe, you always read it into the record.
And Joe, you read it so nice.
Yes.
Be glad to. Get to the whereases.
So it's a proclamation of the Township Committee of the Township of Hanover declaring June 2023 as National Gun Violence Awareness Month in Hanover Township. Whereas this proclamation declares the month of June 2023 to be National Gun Violence Awareness Month in the Township of Hanover, in honor and remembrance of all victims and survivors of gun violence, and to declare that the United States must do more to reduce gun violence. Whereas every day, more than 100 Americans are killed by gun violence, and on average, there are nearly 13,000 gun homicides each year. And whereas Americans are 25 times more likely to be killed with guns than people in other high-income countries. And whereas the Township's Chief of Police is charged with the highest responsibility in protecting the lives of all residents and the public in general. And whereas support for the Second Amendment rights of law-abiding citizens go hand in hand with keeping guns away from people with dangerous histories. And whereas law enforcement officers know their communities best, are most familiar with local criminal activity and how to address it, and are best positioned to understand how to keep their citizens safe. And whereas gun violence prevention is more important than ever as the COVID-19 pandemic now winds down, but still can be a threat. Gun violence is increasing with gun sales, increasing with calls for suicide and domestic violence, and an increase in urban gun violence. And whereas, in recognition of Haida Pendleton, a 15-year-old who was tragically shot and killed in January 2013, and in memory of all those who have lost their lives to gun violence, a national coalition has proclaimed June 4th, 2023 as National Gun Violence Day. And whereas, to help raise awareness about gun violence, the Township Committee encourages residents to join the campaign by wearing orange on June 3rd, 2023, and every day during the month of June 2023. And whereas by wearing orange, Americans will raise awareness about gun violence and honor the lives of gun violence victims and survivors. And whereas the Township Committee petitions members of the Congress of the United States to take appropriate action in adopting and approving legislation that will provide for tighter gun control, including universal background checks, and encouraging responsible ownership, as in New Jersey, and keep firearms out of the wrong hands. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Township Committee of the Township of Hanover in the County of Morrison, State of New Jersey, as follows. 1. The Township Committee of Hanover declares June 2023 as National Gun Violence Awareness Month in our community. The governing body encourages all citizens to support efforts to prevent the tragic consequences of gun violence and to honor and value human lives. 2, the governing body also believes that it is necessary to generate a greater public awareness by condemning all forms of violence and the importance of educating as the most effective tool in combating aggression and promoting a respect for life and human dignity. And 3, the Township Committee petitions members of the Congress of the United States to take appropriate action in adopting and approving legislation that will provide for tighter gun control, including universal background checks, and encourage responsible ownership, as in New Jersey, and keep firearms out of the wrong hands. Signed, Thomas Ace Gallagher, Mayor, on behalf of the Township Committee.
Thank you, Joe.
Want to present it first?
Can I say a few words?
Please.
Yeah.
Fern, I was going to ask you if you had our ribbons tonight, last,
I didn't bring ribbons, but I can bring them tomorrow over to the township.
That'd be great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for asking.
Okay. So I just want to say, I'm always moved when Joe reads that out loud. It just is fantastic. And the fact that you bring up, calling upon Congress to do more, just really does it for me. On behalf of Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America and Every Town for Gun Safety, thank you, Mayor Gallagher and the Hanover Township Committee for organizing a Gun Violence Awareness Month proclamation marking Gun Violence Awareness Month 2023. We still need, at a minimum, national legislation for universal background checks and assault weapons ban. With me is Margaret Kerrison and Christina and Rich Dunn, and who support this proclamation. We applaud you, the Township Committee, for joining us as we honor survivors and are united in our message to end gun violence. I'm asking you, Mayor Gallagher, to join Mayors Against Illegal Guns, a nonpartisan group, to work to get national laws on the books to protect us from illegal handguns and guns getting in the hands of those who would do harm to others or themselves. Your joining would encourage other mayors to step up and speak out against this uniquely American epidemic, no matter their political affiliation. I want to stress that gun violence is not simply an issue of mental health. Other developed countries similar to the U.S. face similar mental health issues, but the U.S. is the only country where families and communities are devastated by gun violence daily. The issue is easy access to guns and a patchwork of state laws rather than national laws that leave even states like New Jersey with smart gun laws on the books vulnerable. I think we can all agree, and you mentioned it, that safe storage of guns could save lives. One of our programs, supported by Moms Demand Action, is an education campaign called Be Smart. Be Smart teaches gun owners how to safely secure and lock their guns, how to store ammunition separately from the firearm, and essentially how to be a responsible gun owner. Something as simple as a gun lock or a background check can disrupt the easy and immediate acquisition of firearms. It could be the difference between life and death. If the town or the Hanover Township Police Department wants more information on the Be Smart program, I would be happy to supply it, and we can even do a presentation for you. Thank you again for being a strong partner in our fight against gun violence. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
Fern, I just want to say one thing
Yes.
to you that I really appreciate that you said. You referred to legal guns and illegal guns.
Yes.
Because we have a problem, and I always talk about the illegal gun and the process of buying a gun legally, so it's really great you pointed that out. And one thing that we put in our resolution that's really important is all violence. Because we had a family member years and years ago that got beat up pretty bad and it changed his life. And I personally don't think anybody should put their hands on anybody. So I think all violence, it would be a really great objective if we can together do something to at least lessen the violent behavior. So thank you for pointing a few of those things out too. So thank you.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Listen, the whole crew.
Yes.
Huh?
That's okay. You can come up, you can hide behind us. You don't understand. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a third proclamation that we'd like to read into the record. It's a proclamation of the Township Committee of the Township of Hanover designating June 2023 as LGBTQ1A plus Pride Month in Hanover Township. Whereas the Township Committee of the Township of Hanover welcomes and encourages diversity and inclusion within the Hanover Township community. And whereas June 28, 2023 marks the 55th anniversary of the Stonewall Uprising in New York City, which sparked the gay rights movement and is the nationwide month to recognize the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer or questioning, intersex, asexual, and plus community. And whereas celebrating Pride Month raises awareness and provides support and advocacy for the LGBTQIA plus community, and is an opportunity to become educated, engaged in dialogue, strengthen alliances, and build understanding. And whereas, while there has been remarkable progress toward acceptance and equality, members of the LGBTQIA plus community continue to face discrimination, intolerance, and hate. And whereas we must commit to supporting and accepting LGBTQIA plus individuals, in particular our youth, who, compared to their peers, are far more likely to experience violence and bullying at schools, to suffer depression, to struggle with substance use, and to have attempted suicide. And whereas we must remain vigilant in deterring oppression and discrimination against people on the basis of sex, gender identity or expression, or sexual orientation. And whereas by protecting the rights of every individual, we enhance and strengthen the value of everyone throughout our entire society. And whereas we affirm our support for LGBTQIA plus residents in our community and stand with them to protect their civil rights and their ability to live openly, equally, and without fear. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Township Committee of the Township of Hanover and the County of Morrison, State of New Jersey, on this 8th day of June, 2023, that the governing body recognizes and supports the month of June 2023 as lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer or questioning, intersex, asexual, and plus Pride Month. Be it further resolved that the governing body urges all residents to celebrate and build a culture of inclusiveness and acceptance during this month and every month. Signed, Thomas A. Gallagher, on behalf of the Township Committee.
Thank you, Jim.
Can I ask, I didn't make this request this year. I have many times in the past. Can I ask who made the request?
Well, because we've done it for the past 3 or 4 years.
Oh, my God.
And we're being consistent with that approach.
Okay.
See, we
So,
do pay
oh my God, so I just want to say, because I have requested this for, I think, the past 4 years, and you've given it to me, and I am, honestly, I fell down on the job this year. I was a little busy with other stuff, and I just didn't get around to it. When I saw it on the agenda, I thought, oh, this is great, somebody else requested it. Thank you, guys. Bravo. I am really, I'm so grateful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'll
And Fern, we want those ribbons.
I'm making a mental note. Thank you.
Okay, ready?
Ready, next order of business.
Very good, guys.
Okay, next on the agenda is the approval of the Township Committee meeting minutes of April 13th, 2023. May I please have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Approved. Next is the public hearing and adoption of ordinance numbers 17-2023, 18-2023, 19-2023, and 20-2023. Proof of publication that all ordinances and the notice of introduction appeared in full in the May 17th issue of the Daily Record in accordance with law. At this time, may I have a motion to convene the public hearing on ordinances 17, 18, 19, and 20?
So moved.
Second.
Is there anyone in chambers wishing to be heard concerning any of these ordinances? If so, please state your name and address for the record and which ordinance you would like to address.
Motion to close?
Second.
Okay, now may I have a motion to adopt ordinance number 17-2023, 18-2023, 19-2023, and 20-2023?
So moved.
Second.
On roll call, Committeeman Cahill.
Aye.
Committeeman Farah.
Aye.
Committeeman Francioli.
Aye.
Committeeman Mahalko.
Yes.
Mayor Gallagher.
Aye.
So adopted. Okay, next on the agenda, we have ordinances for introduction. I'd like to read each title into the record. Ordinance 21-2023. An ordinance of the Township Committee of the Township of Hanover in the County of Morris, State of New Jersey, authorize the purchase and installation of a burglar alarm and fire alarm security system for the Township's historic Samuel Tuttle House, and further appropriating the sum of $50,000 from the Township's 2023 Capital Improvement Fund and all years prior for financing and improvements. Ordinance number 20-2023, an ordinance of the Township Committee of the Township of Hanover, the County of Morris, and State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 193 of the Township Code to allow only authorized vehicles in certain municipal campus parking lot areas to protect the public health, safety, and welfare. Ordinance number 23-2023, an ordinance of the Township Committee, Township of Hanover in the County of Morris and State of New Jersey, authorizing the renovations and improvements to the main public meeting room at the municipal building in 2 phases and further appropriating the sum of $161,690 from the 2023 Capital Improvement Fund and all prior years and the 2023 current fund budget for the financing of the first phase. And ordinance number 24-2023. An ordinance of the Township Committee of the Township of Hanover in the County of Morris and State of New Jersey, amending Part 2, General Legislation of the Code of the Township of Hanover to establish a new Chapter 260, Vacant and Abandoned Properties. I'd like to state for the record that all of the ordinances and their notice of introductions will be published in full in the Daily Record in accordance with law. The public hearing is scheduled for July 13th, 2023 at 8 p.m. If any member of the public would like to speak regarding these ordinances, they will be given the opportunity to do so that evening. May I please have a motion to introduce ordinance numbers 21, 22, 23, and 24?
So moved. Second.
Roll call, Committeeman Cahill.
Aye.
Committeeman Farah.
Aye.
Committeeman Francioli.
Aye.
Committeeman Mahalko.
Yes.
And Mayor Gallagher.
Aye.
So introduced. Okay, the next order of business is the approval of resolutions as a consent agenda. Resolutions numbers 108, 2023 through 125, 2023. Does any member of the Township Committee have a question regarding any of these?
Very quick comment, if you don't mind?
Sure.
I just wanted to, the very first on the consent agenda is the appointment of John Horan as our new municipal prosecutor. He's in the room in the back, and just for those of you who haven't met him, we just wanted to welcome him to the Hanover Township family. Looking forward to working with you, John.
Hey, John. Hey, John, I also wanted to take a moment out to say that it was an honor to be involved in the process to bringing you to Hanover Township. Very impressive, really looking forward to working with you, and like Brian said, welcome.
Well, Mayor and Council, I do appreciate that. You know, as I said in the interview process, the first meeting of a mayor and council I ever attended as an attorney was here in the Township of Hanover, and my first municipal court appearance was here in the Township of Hanover. My office is located here in the Township of Hanover. I drive by this building every morning. Joe has my cell phone. I encourage all of you to use it, nights, weekends. If I can help you with anything, please reach out to me. And most importantly, I look forward to working with you guys to keep our community here top-notch. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you.
Second.
Mayor, may I just say,
Yes, Fred.
if I may, with respect to Mr. Haran, as he said, he has a history with the township that dates back even before my history with the township, and I just want to say you're getting an outstanding municipal prosecutor. He has a great track record in other communities and an outstanding person. So I just wanted to put that on the record, and thank you.
And I want to just make one more comment to John. John, when we talk about something this high level, we always conclude with hearing from Fred. So that coming from Fred to button up our comments means the world to us. So again, congratulations and welcome.
It's the ultimate compliment to me as well. Thanks.
And lastly, we have to pay our bills in the amount of...
No, I'm sorry.
Oh.
We need
Gotta
to
vote.
Oh, I thought you
affirm.
did it. I'm sorry.
We need to affirm.
I thought you did that.
We have a motion, we have a second on the floor, now we have to affirm.
Sorry.
Not a problem.
You got me all flustered. Committeeman Cahill? Yes. I'm like, what's going on? Committeeman Cahill?
Yes.
Committeeman Faramusca?
Aye.
Committeeman Francioli?
Yes.
Committeeman Mahalka?
Yes.
Mayor Gallagher?
Aye.
So approved. Now we can pay our bills? Okay.
Yes, so moved to pay the bills.
You want to pay all the bills, $6 million,
Yes, pay all the bills, pay them all.
May I have a motion to pay the bills? John, may I have a second, please?
Second?
All in favor? Aye. So approved to pay the bills. Mayor Gallagher and the members of the committee, that clears the agenda, and I thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Christine.
Oy, oy, oy.
So from here, can I have a motion to open to the public?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Would anyone from the public like to be heard on any issue at this time? I know we have a young man back there watching the governing body at work. If you have anything to say, we'd love to hear from you. And welcome, by the way.
He's talking to you.
Anyway, whoever defines this.
It's open? Yes, sir. State your name and address, please, and you have 4 minutes.
4 minutes, okay. Chris Matisich, 32 Sunset Drive in Whippany. I'm here for a couple different reasons. First one's kind of an emotional one for me. I'm essentially here to confess to a series of crimes that I've committed over the last couple of years. The first one being I left my house every day of the pandemic. The second one being I visited my grandparents every day of the pandemic. They live on Troy Hills Road. I visit them every day of the pandemic because I visited them every day before the pandemic. I'm starting to trip over my words a bit. I was told I would kill my grandparents if I visited them, but frankly, they're in their 90s and they would have preferred to die of COVID than to be left alone in their homes for years on end, waiting until only a month ago the president finally lifted the pandemic emergency. In the course of the early pandemic days, my grandfather did die. Not from COVID, he died because his stomach ruptured, and myself and my family were too afraid to bring him to the hospital because the television scared us. And a month before he died, I yelled at him for going food shopping because the television scared me. And I have to carry that the rest of my life. I don't know if he would have survived. He was 94, maybe not. But he bled to death on the floor by the front door. And my grandma called me, and by the time I got up there, because they lived right up the street, he was gone. But he was sick for a day before that. So we had time to go to Morristown Memorial. And we said, oh, he'll get COVID there and die. Better not. Because the TV told us not to. The next crime I committed was I walked through Blackbrook Park when they closed it. Why? It's my park. I've been going there since I was 2, 3 years old. I have a picture of myself at 7 years old on the old playground. If you remember, it was like a big dome you can climb inside. It was all solid steel back then, before they made everything plastic. But I couldn't go to the park during the pandemic. I don't know why. Someone closed it. They said it was too dangerous to be out in the air getting vitamin D from the sun because of a cold virus that you can't really catch outdoors. So we closed the parks. That didn't really make sense. And the last crime I committed was that at my wedding, which was in 2020, in September, I danced with my wife. And that was illegal at the time. Not really illegal, but you know what I'm saying. The governor declared himself as essentially a dictator and said, you cannot dance with people until I say it's okay. But I paid a lot of money for a wedding. We only had 25 people there because he also said we couldn't have the 200 guest list that we wanted. He said, only 25 people are allowed. So that's what we did. And we had music playing, and I said, you know what, if I get arrested for this, whatever. So I danced with my wife at my wedding. I think you guys understand what I'm getting at. I don't think, at the time, General Washington risked being hung by the neck until dead to then have all of our rights stripped away by fear, by a government that basically closed the whole country down and then said the freedom to assemble doesn't exist anymore. Freedom of speech, if you speak out against any of the government provisions, is just gone. Freedom of the press is, well, the press is just junk anyway. They just do whatever they get the most sales on anyway. One of the only amendments that wasn't stripped from us was the second, which I think there's a reason for that, but I'm sad to see that the two people here left that were here earlier, because I have some info on what I think also relates to gun violence. No country other than America is as hopped up on drugs as we are. There are 40 million Americans that take antidepressants on a regular basis. And if you look at studies that were done by the NIH, antidepressants, 1% of everyone taking antidepressants is at risk of homicidal and/or suicidal tendencies. 40 million, 1% of that is 400,000 Americans walking around that at the drop of a hat can be extremely violent to themselves or others. To me, I can't think of any reason on earth that a normal person would hurt children. I could not imagine that unless their minds have been altered by pharmaceutical chemicals. It's the only, that stuff didn't happen. There wasn't like 1800s or 1700s people murdering strangers. It didn't happen. There was violence, it was criminal for theft or whatever other reason, but it wasn't randomized. That's only a recent thing, within my lifetime. Columbine, really. I think I'm over time, you want me to stop?
Yeah, I was going to say, obviously what you're saying is very emotional and heartfelt, but we do have a 4-minute hard stop. I wanted to give you a little more time, but I'm going to ask you to just make a closing comment and then that's it. Just because of time restraints and consistency.
That's it.
Thank you. Anyone else like to be heard? Terry going once, going twice.
Motion to close.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we still have quite a bit of business to take care of, but if any committeeman would like to just take a minute or two and give us a quick update on an item, that would be great, maybe two, starting with John.
All right, the umbrella for this is great things happen in Hanover. The good news is that Hanover won a grant called Community Solar. Community Solar is an opportunity for those who do not have solar panels on their roofs to put and participate in this clean energy program. So we encourage you to look at the township's website to see how you can participate in this, and you potentially can receive a credit on your electric bill by participating in this. Second issue to bring up is affordable housing rentals. We've all heard for many years us speaking about what's going to happen at River Park. 34 Eden Lane is the exact address. There's 78 apartments that are being built there. Completion estimated to be in this August. Please, if you're interested in these rental properties, to sign up now. Hanover Township residents, for the market rate portion of those apartments, will be given preferential treatment provided they sign up by early July. Last one I want to discuss is called the EDAC Shop Local event. We have a very active Shop Local program put on by the Economic Development Advisory Council. And June 14th, at the Whippany Railway Museum, we're inviting all our small businesses to come out and be recognized. It's from 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock. There's no charge. We only ask one thing. Please register in advance, and all of the information is on the township website.
Very good, John, thank you. Ron?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, just a few very brief comments. Number one, a caution from all of us on the Board of Health, and I'm certain from the Township Committee. We're going through a very unusual weather phenomena with smoke, and a big caution for everyone. Had our seniors meeting this past Wednesday and advised everyone, seniors or those with disability, etc., stay indoors until we can get through this. If you have to be outdoors, unfortunately, masks would be the best thing for your protection and respiratory system. I'm sure we're moving out of this in the next day or two, but please use caution. If you don't have to be outdoors or exhaust yourself in any way, do not. Finally, a reminder that Township Committee is working on the final details of a dedication for the Navy Deck Gun Plaza, which will be named in for George F. Coppola. George, member of our Township Committee, commander of the VFW, has served Hanover Township over many years, and we are going to salute him on July the 18th at 6 o'clock at Veterans Field. The public is cordially invited to join us, as other dignitaries will be invited as well, so we certainly hope to see you there. And this weekend, try and enjoy yourselves. The Rotary Club of Hanover is having their annual duck race at Malapartis Park. Bring the kids, have some fun, refreshments, and watch the race. So thank you, Mr. Mayor. That's all I got.
Thank you, Ron. Brian?
Just three quick things, well, actually two, because I've already congratulated John and welcomed him to the Hanover family. But I also would like to congratulate Mike Mahalko on a resounding win in this primary election. I guess we've gotten ourselves into it yet once again, but I do look forward to, assuming it goes well in November, working with you for yet another 3 years. And lastly, and I know, Mike, you're going to talk about the parade probably a little bit, but I just wanted to, as liaison of public safety, I did want to personally thank Hanover Township Police Department, Hanover Township Fire Department, our OEM department, as well as our CERT teams, just an entire team that was out there during the entire parade and just helped to coordinate and keep things moving and keep us all safe. And just a fantastic job as always. And I know it's an early morning on a holiday, so just never think that it doesn't go unappreciated, because it's very much appreciated. That's it.
Thank you, Brian. Mike?
Yeah, again, congratulations, Brian. Well done on the election. And also the parade. I want to thank all the committeemen and all of the parade committee, Pete Birkenkamp, Mary Nemec, Tom Quirk, Joe Mahalko, Mike McGorry, George Coppola, who was on it originally, and we missed him sorely this year. I said Tom, Mike McGorry, there was James Hark.
Yeah.
It was a really good crew. I think it was one of the best parades we've had in a long time. The streets were lined with a lot of people. Really went off well. Thank you all for the hard work. It's not something that comes together overnight. We also had some new attendance too, which was great to see. So again, thank you all for all your hard work on the parade.
And we thank you for leading it and bringing that important component back to our town.
Thank you. Well, we all certainly didn't want to see it disappear. And again, it was a great crew that really pulled it all together. So thank you all. Just a couple things, try to keep it short. We had the fishing contest last weekend. Another great turnout. People are starting to come out, which is great to see. We went out for about 3 hours. I think the largest fish was over 11 inches. For our little Malapartis pond, that was pretty good. So again, thank you all for turning out. It was also in conjunction with Substance Awareness. They helped sponsor some of that also. So Recreation, Denise, Tom Quirk, and the crew put on a terrific event, and DPW were there, obviously, to support. Again, they always do a fantastic job. I want to thank all of them. A couple things coming up. Just want to point out, we have a new women's softball league that we're putting together. Over 100 participants already, which is fantastic for a new league, fresh out of the box. It's a women's softball league, Tuesday and Thursday nights, games on the weekend. It begins beginning of September. They're having tryouts this weekend. Check out the website if anybody's interested. There is a small fee for it, but check it out. We also have a couple other events coming up. Well, first of all, Big Meadow Pool is open. Again, it's one of our most attended years. Our attendance is up. Fantastic entity we have there, and great to see it's run by Eddie Cashin is the manager. Does an awesome job. If anybody knows Eddie, you know what I'm talking about. But we do have an event, and it is open to the general public. You do have to register, and there is a small fee, a $5 fee, but there is a concert next Friday, June 16th. Doors open at 6:30. It's Parrot Beach, which is a Jimmy Buffett parody band. So again, it's open. There's still some tickets available. You don't have to be a member of the pool. So if you're not sure, you want to check it out, it's a good way to come. And even for our seniors, we have a large senior contingent that goes to the pool. It's a great way to see your friends. They play cards, they hang out, mahjong, dominoes. It's a great little venue that we have there. And again, that's another one that we're glad we kept that open through COVID. It was difficult to do, but trying to keep some normalcy, and I think that really helped us. And again, really. I did get approval, although I mentioned it to the crew just a few minutes ago. We are rolling out Hometown Hero Banner Program. Denise did say to mention this tonight. Hometown Hero Program. It's a banner. These are 2x5, 2x4 feet. They'll be hung on light poles at the municipal complex and at the community center parking lot. Check out the website. There's a lot of details. The initial round is going to be our veterans that have passed already, that are already on our monument outside. Those will be the first ones sponsored by the town. But it is also open to residents and former residents, if you want to remember them. Again, check out the website. The information there, there's a small fee of $100. Banners last, they estimate about 2 years. Again, family, friend, relative that you want to honor that lived in Hanover Township. Again, check this out. Just a couple more things, one more thing at least. Our patriotic celebration, June 30th, that's Thursday, June 30th, 6 o'clock. Food trucks, band, activities, fireworks are at 9:15. So make sure you put that on your calendar. That's always a fantastic event. It's here at Vets Field and at our municipal complex. One more follow-up. I don't know if it was going to get covered. Sorry. June 14th is Flag Day over at American Legion. I don't want to forget about this one. Flag Day, for the retiring of the flags. It starts at dusk. So come out for that celebration. Nice solemn affair. Now I'm done.
Thank you very much, Mike. Aren't you glad you're going to do another 3.5 years with us?
Absolutely.
I got to really second the motion on the fishing contest, Mike. That was, it's a thrill every time, but this year was big. Yeah. And the smiles on those kids' faces and dads and moms there was tremendous. Dozens One little guy fished for the first time. We did a line for him. Yeah. I think he brought in nine or 10. He brought in a record amount of fishes inside of that outlet. Yeah. Unbelievable. Yeah, so kudos to the
great function. Yeah, they put on a
great event.
Yes,
great event.
Absolutely.
So to conclude, I would just like to say that, and again with the parade, I know several towns that have discontinued their parade. It's a lot of work. It's months and months of planning, a lot of phone calls and emails. So, Mike, thank you very much. The whole crew was great. Brian, you did what you do. You guys were very dedicated. I've been here 17 years. I think it was the best parade. most well-attended, and everybody had a great time. And Mike, truthfully, if it wasn't for you, it probably would have discontinued, because that was truly those talks were truly taking place. So thank you on behalf of everybody.
Thank you. The crew, great to work with.
The other thing I just want to say, and Chris, I think you'll be interested in this, is Hanover Township with Carol Giorgio years ago put together a coalition, a drug coalition, and it's called NJC4, and then there's 4 bullets. It's mental health and wellness, it's understanding our seniors and older family members, it's called addiction and available services, and it's called education and positive choices. We're having a big event June 28th at Florham Park Ridgedale School. News 12 is involved, 101.5 is involved, Mental Health Association is involved, Sheriff Gannon is involved, a lot of educators, a lot of different towns, 15 different towns are participating with us. It's open to the public, but we know a lot of times people have a lot of different things to do when they don't make it, but it's going to be live on the web, and it's going to be available for people to watch at any time. And we're dealing with a lot of issues in depth, and it's going to be very, very well-educated people in the field giving us real information and directing people to available sources so they can get help, and sometimes even look for available sources in the privacy of their own home, because a lot of times things like this are very, very secret. The last thing I'll tell you the Mental Health Association does is young people text, and they're more comfortable texting than they are making a phone call or talking to their parents. The Mental Health Association offers help 24 hours a day to young people by texting. If a young person texts and they're having a problem, boom, somebody responds right away. You go back and forth, and guess what? That kid reached out, that kid now has a friend. So I want you to know these are beautiful groups that are coming together. It's needed. After COVID, we have a new series of issues because people being isolated for that long has harmed quite a few people, and we're understanding and trying to understand what we're up against. So that being said, I think we covered a lot of ground tonight. I think everybody did a good job. It was great having so much of the public here. I'd like to ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn this part of our meeting.
Second?
All in favor? Aye. Okay, so we're going to continue in conference in May. We have 2 or 3 more items, but everybody, thank you very much for being here.
He's generally upset with the state of society.